Good morning, everyone. This is Kathy Schick with NC3T. Welcome to our Pennsylvania sites. I know that there are a few of you that may have several people around your microphone or computer, so we welcome you. We're very excited today to bring you a webinar that is specific for Pennsylvania Penn sites. So this is being recorded. Several of you have, several sites mentioned that they'd like to share it with guidance counselors and high school teachers once, maybe during a half-day early dismissal or an in-service. So this will be recorded. Our speakers today are from the Pennsylvania Department of Education, specifically from the Bureau of Career and Technical Education. We're so happy to have Casey Simchak with us, and she is the Division Manager for PD and Support Services. Casey's an expert in so many things, and I've had the pleasure of working with her before, and I know she's so dedicated to everything she does. Charles is also with us, Charles Sobolski. I don't know Charles, but I talked to him just briefly, and I think we're in for a very informative session. So what I'm going to do right now, we are going to switch screens a little bit, so if you'll just be patient with us. I'm going to go ahead and give Casey the control of the screen. So in just a moment, you'll see Casey's screen pop up, her desktop, and her PowerPoint, and we will get started. If you have any questions, by the way, please, oh, excuse me, I'm losing my voice. Please feel free to either raise your hand by clicking on the yellow hand icon or typing your question in, and we'll be able to take a pause and respond to questions. All right, let's see. I'm seeing your screen, Casey, so good morning. Hello.
Good morning. And I just lost my screen. What happened? Oh, there it goes.
There it is.
Whoa. That was a little surprise there. Well, good morning, Kathy. Thank you for the introduction. It's very kind. Charles and I, this is our first time doing this PowerPoint and doing a webinar, so we may have a little bumps here and there, but I'm sure you're going to learn a lot of stuff from today's presentation. So I'm going to just start off here, just letting you know that we're doing the PACareerZone.org website. It's a website that we started in Pennsylvania about 7 years ago. It was right after we had approved the career education and work standards, and we realized a lot of counselors didn't have information available to them to help meet the standards, which is really helping students create a career plan. So that is what the intent of this website was, and as 7 years ago, it looks a lot different than it did 7 years ago. Every year we update it. There's always new things coming in, and so it's a very current information, current ideas used for career planning for our students in Pennsylvania. The website provides us with career exploration, research, and planning to be used in the classroom for students and for job seekers. And anyone else who's interested in careers in Pennsylvania. We have a couple of things there at the end we're going to talk about in terms of how you can use the career zone. And these are just some words we throw out there, but this is really where all that information is for financial aid, budgeting, journaling, career exploration, resume building, assessment, colleges, interests. All of that is on this Career Zone website. And so it's meant to be for students, for parents, for teachers, for counselors, especially is how we started out doing it. But as we went along, it exploded into all kinds of activities and opportunities for people to learn about Pennsylvania careers. Some of the main components of this whole thing kind of lead you through a career plan where you start off with doing an assessment to match your career, and then it leads you into over 900 occupations that are in Pennsylvania in our data list. Now, we work with the Department of Labor and Industry on the data for the careers in Pennsylvania. They use Pennsylvania Pacific data for the careers on this website, and it comes from the Department of Labor and Industry. So that's a combination, a partnership that's been made over the years. And then you can create a profile of that occupation and what it looks like. Take that information if you're interested in it. You can put it in a student's portfolio. Every student can sign up here for a portfolio use, and keep their information in there to use it, share with their parents, to work on it for later reflections. So that's all part of that career planning. Then once you work on a career plan, you need to get your college path alignment, and we have lots of information. We've been building that over the past couple of years, and as we've been building this program, other states have been using it. A good example is that this website was started probably about eight or 9 years ago through New York had started through a grant that they had, and then that grant went away, but part of that grant is called the ACORN grant, which is still around, but that ACORN grant said that it could be shared with other states. So we bought into it, California bought into it, and then since then I think North Carolina, maybe in Florida, has bought into this website because it is so complete. And as each of the states have been doing, like we did the college career path, and New York did the portfolios, and California has done the clusters. Each of us have been working together to create this website to make it more user-friendly. So it's not just Pennsylvania Pacific, it's Pennsylvania Pacific, but it's used all over the country. And then once you get your college career, you can go to resume, find jobs. Those are excellent resources. You can't find any much better resources than what we have all on one site. This is what the website looks like. And one of the things that I want to share with you is that this website, in terms of the growth over the years for us in building it, this past year we had 150,000 hits on this website, and that's an increase from last year's 70% hits, 70,000% hits from last year. And that's because we've been building this, and Charles has been working hard trying to get schools and teachers to understand how to work this website in their classroom, how to build it with the portfolios, individual portfolios. That's a new item that's been added about a year or so ago. So it's been constantly growing, and as we've been growing and promoting it, the hits have been coming in and growing more steadily than ever before. And one other thing I just want to mention is it's free. You can't get anything this great and have it free for all your students and all your teachers. It's one that the state supports, and so that is a free to all Commonwealth people. So the other item I just want to touch here is there is a menu on top. On the very top here, you can see Explore, and Explore has a couple things there to look at. I think that's when you register your career exploration. And over here, the next one here, which I'm going to, I can't hit right now, but I'm going to tell you on this button here, the Decide button has a couple items on there for college and research, but the one item has additional resources, and under additional resources, that's where the guide is, that if we don't have a book guide, it's an online guide, and that's where the online guide is right here under Decide. So we're going to kind of point to that a little bit later on, and growth again is the research and individual information that you put on there. So these buttons here is very simple menu, it's easy to find, and then we have the three components. But before we do the three components, I'm going to have to turn this over to Kathy to show us the tour, because my computer won't pick it up. It just says that it doesn't like it. But this tour button is a button that takes about 6 minutes to do, and I thought we could show that as a start for our presentation for today. So Kathy, I'm going to have you, you can hit that tour button on your end.
Yes, okay, sorry, I was muted, but yes, I'm going to change the screen over to me, so if everybody will just give me 1 second, you should see my screen. And so much here, let's see if I can get to that. Here we go. All right, I'm hoping if someone, Casey, do you see it on my screen?
Yes, I do, yeah.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and play this 6-minute tour. I think this is a good idea because otherwise we all think we're going to go do this later, but this is a good way to get it done right now. So here we go.
Over the next few minutes, we're going to demonstrate how you can use this system to explore the world of work and assist you in finding the right career for you. You can begin your journey in many ways, but to make it easier for you, we'll highlight 3. If you are unsure about what you want to do,
I'm
consider
sorry.
starting with the Assess Yourself option, where you can choose from different assessments to help you find an occupation you might enjoy. The Explore Job Families option will allow you to find occupations by starting from a field you find interesting. Finally, the Reality Check option can help you find occupations that will support the lifestyle you want to lead. You can begin with any option you choose, but we'll get started by clicking on Assess Yourself. There are 4 options you can choose from: the Interest Profiler, the Work Importance Profiler, the Skills Profiler, and Quick Assessment. Here's a quick rundown of the options. If you only have a few minutes, the 3-question Quick Assessment is an easy way to dive into occupations that might interest you. If you have a bit more time, or if you're still in school or just entering the world of work, the Interest Profile is a good starting point. It will ask you to rate your interest in a variety of job-related activities and then presents you with occupations that are similar. If you've had a few jobs, you might consider starting with the Work Importance Profiler. This assessment focuses more on the work environment and what is important to you in a job. Once you complete the Work Importance Profiler, it will produce a list of occupations which are likely to provide high job satisfaction. Finally, the Skills Profiler will help you identify jobs that you would be suited to based on the skills you already possess. You can use any assessment tool you like in any order. The more tools you complete, the more you'll learn about yourself and the jobs you might enjoy. Let's run through the quick assessment. Use your mouse to hover over each interest area. As you do, you'll see a description of the interests on the right-hand side. Read each one carefully. As you find the statements that best describe you, use your mouse to click on each item and select it. When you've selected your top 3 interest areas, click on the View Results item. To demonstrate, we'll select Realistic, Investigative, and Artistic. This takes us to a listing of all the occupations that match the interest areas we selected. All the lists in the system are presented the same way. You can filter the results by a variety of criteria, including salary, required education, and several others. Just adjust the options at the top of the table and click Filter. You can also resort the data in the table by clicking on the column headings. Next to several items in the table, you will see icons. Each icon represents different things. For example, this icon represents a STEM occupation. STEM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics. For each icon, you can mouse over it to get a description of what it represents. To the left of each item, you'll find a checkbox. In every listing, you can compare up to 4 items. Let's select a few, and then we'll click the Compare button at the bottom of the page. Here you can see a side-by-side comparison of wages, interests, job openings, and even the most popular college majors among people who have this occupation. Next, let's select the occupation Electrician and view its full profile. Here you can read lots of information about the job, including a job description, daily tasks, interests, wages, and job outlook. Many of the occupations even have pictures and a video where you can watch people working in that occupation. To view, simply click on the video icon in the top right. You can even see if there are current openings in this occupation in your area by clicking on the View Job Opening button. You can also look at the education required for this occupation by clicking on the program title. Click on the institution icon to find local colleges and institutions that offer this major. From here, you'll see a listing that looks similar to what we saw in the occupation listing. Just like the occupation listings, you can sort, filter, and compare educational institutions. Now let's look at the other ways to explore. If you've already identified some careers that interest you, you can explore job families. Maybe you'd like to work in the legal profession, the medical field, or be a teacher. Whatever your aspirations, you can find a job family that contains your area of interest. You'll see that clicking on a cluster takes you to the same occupation listing we saw before. The Reality Check allows you to develop a budget by answering a series of questions about your lifestyle and the types of things you like to do. You can use your budget to find occupations that would pay you enough to lead the lifestyle you want. Or you can also work backwards from your dream job to explore what you will be able to afford. Anytime you visit the system, you can log into the portfolio by selecting the option at the top of the screen. When you're logged in, you can revisit your assessment results, view the occupations you've bookmarked, and review your notes. The account will stay with you for life, and only you have access to it, so it's a great companion to help you along on your journey. Let's take a look. To begin, Let's click on the Register for an Account link on the top of the page. Now that we have an account, let's take a look again at the Electrician Profile page. Now that you're logged in, you have access to several advanced features. You can create journal entries to keep track of your thoughts, research, job applications, or anything else you might want to remember. By clicking on the journal icon, you can create an entry. You can also rate occupations. If you click on the rating icon, you can assign a rating on a scale of 1 to 5. We'll give this occupation a rating of a 4. If you are interested, but not quite ready to take action, click on the bookmark button to save it to your portfolio so that you can come back later and continue your exploration. As you explore the system, these ratings and bookmarks will show up when you're logged in. Let's take a look at how electricians show up in the results. You can see there is an additional column that contains the rating we just gave. Some of the other features available include an occupational search, which allows you to quickly find a specific occupation, and the resources section, which includes links to other sites that might complement your career exploration. If you have trouble with anything you find on the site, you can click the Help button at the bottom of any screen. View answers to our frequently asked questions, or send us an email. Thanks for watching. Now it's time to begin your own career exploration.
Okay. I'm sorry, I had a little techno problem there. I was trying to mute myself and it went a little haywire. There's a certain amount of pressure when you have the power of the screen, isn't there? Let me switch this back over to KC. I don't know why more schools aren't using this free tool. I'm definitely going to sit down with my son this weekend and show it to him. Okay, KC, we can see your screen now. I'm going to mute myself. And remember, if you have any questions, just type them in or raise your hand with that little yellow icon. Go ahead, KC.
Thanks, Kathy. This slide here just kind of like goes over what she kind of went over before you gives you an update on that. What we're going to do is try to go through that a little bit more slower, step by step, so you can get a better understanding how it all works together. Again, on that one button under the, if you learn this and you look at it, but you want more detail or more help, of course, there's a user guide. It's online. As I mentioned earlier, it's under the menu on top, under Decide, and then you have to hit Branch Out. Then it has additional resources, and then it has User Guide for PA Career Zone, and that's the button you want to hit. And that screenshot down below just gives you the overview of how it starts. It's all online. You hit Next, and you hit Next, and then it kind of lays out each part, and you can actually print it out page by page if you like, and for the user guide, which I think is something that, you know, Kathy and I were talking earlier. People, some people just like it online. Me, I like a hard copy, so I would probably print it off and put my notes on it. But some people just like to read off and go refer back to it all the time when they need it online. So the choice is yours. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go over the three parts. There's those three big boxes in the middle of the screen, the front screen, the assessment, the Explore Careers, and Budget Your Life. Again, as mentioned in the tour, the Assess Yourself has three different kinds of assessments, and they are the Holland Interest Assessment, which is a nationally known assessment that a lot of people are familiar with in mostly in understanding career interests. And then the Exploration has 22 career clusters, and those career clusters are created through labor and industry. That's how labor and industry runs a lot of their data, and so they have created the 23 kinds of career clusters that they see those 900 fit into. So it's not our Pennsylvania clusters, it's not the national career clusters, it's labor and industry's 22 career clusters, how they lay out all the 900 clusters into a database. And then Budget Your Life, which is a really fun activity. Now, any of these activities can be done separately, or they can be done together as a packet. So you can have a lot of ways you want to use the software. You don't have to use the whole packet. You can use certain parts. The Budget Your Life is great for if you are working with students in like the family consumer science folks. They use that particular Budget Your Life because they try to teach kids how to do finance, personal finance. Accounting people can use it in a classroom to do personal finance and lifestyle changes and how lifestyle causes. So if you look at that section by itself, you'll see it has a lot to offer. The 3 assessments that they have for the assessment component, there's a quick assessment which they showed you online, shows you the 6 different characteristics of traits that you may define yourself as, and look at it that way, which is a really simple 15-20 minute review. Then there's a 30-minute interest profile, which asks you like certain kind of work scenarios and how would you find them interesting and not interesting. And then, of course, the last one really goes into more detail on-job kinds of activities. And then from there, you can even get a more deeper understanding of what you like and don't like. And there's an example of the 6 characteristics. It's pretty interesting how you rate yourself, or you can have someone rate them with someone, a teacher, or to help better explain them, or a counselor. And to get more detail, to go deeper, every time you look at one of these categories, you're allowed to go deeper and deeper to better understanding of their occupation and also of yourself. The 22 career clusters, again, work off Department of Labor. You'll see them in a little bit. And also the main page under the second button there of the graphic for career exploration. There's over 900 occupations. These occupations are keys, and you may not find the occupation, but you may at least get to a cluster that will help you lead you into an occupation. The buttons that they mentioned earlier, there's the STEM button, of course, which is a national incentive to have more kids in science and engineering and math. The high priority occupations, you'll find the target there, that's Pennsylvania only, and those are what our Department of Labor in Pennsylvania, Labor and Industry, has proclaimed high priority. And just to give you a little understanding, high priority occupations are the ones you really want to shoot for when you talk to kids in terms of counseling, because they have a high demand today and a high demand 5 years from now, and they are high occupations. They have an income that's self-sustaining income, and they are jobs that you can acquire in Pennsylvania. The SOAR program kind of aligns to the high priority occupation, but they are Bureau Career and Technical Education specific. Our SOAR programs, we have 42 SOAR programs in Pennsylvania that we support in the Career and Technical Education Bureau here at the department. And you may be familiar with them in your schools. If not, we have another website that describes all of that also. This is an example of the job, the career clusters, the job families that Department of Labor has put together for us. And they use this to collect data, and so you'll have all that information as you go along here in your system. And some kids just may have an interest in science, they may have an interest in construction, they know automatically. And so once they have an interest, they can go right into that cluster and look at those jobs. When you're exploring your career, we're going to hit a page here in a little bit about the detail page of all the of an occupation. And on each page, you will see it talks about the job in general. If it has a video, a lot of them do have a video attached to it where you can look at the video to see what that job looks like when they're actually doing tasks. There's the interest and work value attached to each job, things they need to know in order to do that job, things they need to be able to do in order to complete that job's task. Is listed on each of these occupational areas. Required education is there. So if a student was interested in this job, he can go look at the required education and find out if he needs a certificate, a secondary technology, an AA at the community college, or he has to have a 4-year degree or even more. Of course, some of those occupations require a master's and even a doctorate. So it depends on the education requirement to look there for that information. Wages is listed there. Again, those wages and the outlook for both of those areas are coming from the Department of Labor and Industry in Pennsylvania. Our wages for Pennsylvania, our outlook for Pennsylvania, that's what they're referring to when you see that on our page. Common colleges, degrees, that's when you hit that button that takes you to a list of the majors that you need for that occupation. and then the colleges that offer them in Pennsylvania. They just recently expanded that website, that page, to have all the states, because we started in Pennsylvania and other states liked it, so they wanted it for their button. So now it has all the states, United States, in terms of colleges to look for it. And unfortunately, we really don't want you to go out of college, out of state for college, but that's not, seems to be the trend in Pennsylvania. We do a lot of kids going out of state. There's the career planning that's also on the button there. Charles is going to go through that with you, and Find a Job, which is a new website that's been, again, updated, and has been an excellent resource for teachers and students and job seekers. This is an example of what the site looks like. And as you look at these websites, we're going to just take you there for a second here and show you how to actually use that site. And I'm not sure if I can quite get there. I guess I'm going to have to go and this one to get to the website. And here we have the website, which we talked about earlier. Again, these are our menu buttons. On top here, the assess yourself, occupations, college findings, and field of interest. And then this decision button, again, the colleges. And then the bottom here, I was talking to you about the online user guide. You'd hit additional resources. And if you hit different resources, the bottom button there has the user guide. And as you can see, there's a lot of extra links we put on here. It's not complete, but it does relate to the site. It has so much information on this website. It's all inclusive. Here's your financial aid here, cost of colleges, that kind of stuff to make a decision on. And then the growth, of course, is your personal growth, your profile, applications, resumes, and budget. So that kind of gives you what that button looks like there. To go back to the main frame, here's the tour button that we talked about. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to go to the this one. I think they pretty much explained the self-assessment. I think that's pretty well explanatory. They showed you in the video, and I did a little explanation. The career jobs, I think, is where the rubber hits the road. This is the biggie, where all the data for career planning. This is where you want to find your interests and then go deeper, get more details, and go deeper with students for their research. I'm just going to throw out there the one that's very common, of course, is the computer mathematics site. And that one there has, here on top here, you see these are the two Pennsylvania Pacific and then the STEM. And as you go down and look through the occupations, you can see we have several of our POS programs, high priority programs are on this page here. And and I'm just going to pick one here that aligns to the one that we have on our screen here, was the computer, where is it? Computer support networking, computer system analyst. We'll take a look at that one. So you can take a, you can also see there's a video on this page. That if you want to take a look at the video, you can see what that looks like on jobs. It describes the jobs. What is it called? These are different titles that it's called in different organizations and out in the field. This is the title here is specific to the data collection of the Department of Labor and Industry. This is what they call computer system analysis. And then down below here, these are the jobs what they call in the market. It could be a developer, analyst, all those kinds of good terminology if you're in that field. To the left column here, how you rate this position, the compatibility, you create a budget, and then Charles is going to talk about how you create a plan with this, using this as one of your research items. Things, what to do. This is what you do during that occupation. You're going to be doing interviews, surveys, working, observation, performance, determining processes. You're going to be doing input, access on the systems, distributions. So it gives you an idea if you would like this kind of activity. This is what you'll be doing. Your interests, if you have an interest in, if you have investigative, conventional, and realistic, those are the characteristics that you have. This may be an occupation for you. Work values. things you need to know are on here. Again, you can see there's a lot of strong computers, of course, and then the math and the engineering. Again, those STEM programs are really high in that. What you'll be able to do, you have to be able to be a critical thinker, you have to be able to do speaking, communications, and problem solving. So you can see those are the kinds of activities that you want. And down below here, we didn't go over this earlier, but there's these symbols here that deal with, this deals with college all the time. You see this symbol, it's always talked about college. And this is a college major, and this one here is an occupation. So you'll see that throughout the program here, the different symbols. And then over onto the right-hand column, it's going to talk education that's required. Again, it's the wages. This is how much money you'll be making for this occupation, and this is according to 2012. Now, every couple of years, they will update this, and when they update it, it will be put on this website. The Outlook, so this is the Outlook. They do it every 5 years, so they should be getting ready for the new Outlook, and the new Outlook would have from 2015, but they do an Outlook for 5 years, so it's good for 5 years. The people that we will need 23 of these employees by 2020. So you can see this is a good area for someone to invest their money and time in. There is a great need for these employees in this area for the next 6 years. And then you have the college majors, which I'm going to hit here, not over here, because it's an excellent site, the college major sites. And I'm going to hit for this particular program because maybe I'm really interested in it. And here's the college thing, find a college in your interests. But down below here, it has a list of the majors, if you want to major in this field, or maybe you said, well, I really want to be a little more broader and do networking. You can go ahead and hit that. I think that's what I want to major in. And again, it will come up with all the occupations, all the information, and then it will have the college majors here again. And as you hit these, looking for college, you will find that these college majors, it's a great website for help kids search. You want to look in Pennsylvania, maybe you have 100 miles radius, you can change the zip code. And again, he has made this so now it can be the whole nation. And now we can look at them and they can look at us as what colleges we have available. And these are the colleges in Pennsylvania that have the certificate or a degree. And so you can go right to that college, say you're interested and you want to go right to that college in Lehigh, and you click it there, and it has all the information about Lehigh College. It talks about their tuition, where they're located, admissions, dates, book supplies, and also it has the financial aid for that area if you're interested in going there, and the prices. So it's all right there, right in your fingertips. It's 1, 2, 3, boom, and there you are. Say you don't want to maybe go to maybe you want to go to community college, you're thinking, and also here the technical colleges are also here on this list too, which is very exciting for us because that was something new that we had asked them to add. So if you want to go to a community college that was Lehigh, or you want to go to a degree college here like in Gannon, which is up in Erie area for that particular program, again, it's going to throw out there all the information, fees, tuition, and then enrollment and financial aid. And you can even click deeper. As you click to that college, you can go even into that college and find out all the programs, the courses, sequence that's needed for that degree. So it's all at your fingertips. It's pretty exciting to see all that at one time there. So I'm going to roll back to, I think I'm at the very end here of my presentation. Yeah, the only thing I have that I'm going to show you while I'm already on the web here is I'm going to show you Budget Your Life. And this is just a quickie, but again, it can be each of these can be separate. They can be put together in a profile for the student, and you can choose your lifestyle, and it tells you, and actually you're going to hit upon that a little bit, but what this does, it takes you right through like if you go through a career plan and you say, oh my God, I know how much money I'm going to make because this is the job I'm going to have, and I want to live, I want to live in Lehigh County, so you're going to say, do you want to live with your parents? Do you want to have an apartment? Well, you don't want to live with your parents, for sure. You don't want to do that. So you wouldn't love to have your own place, but really at first you're going to really want to get an apartment. And then it's going to tell you this is how much it costs on the average for that apartment in Lehigh County. And you say, okay, good. Well, what about utilities? And then you're going to go down to utilities, and you're going to say, do you want a mobile service? Of course, absolutely. And you're going to pay for gas and electric. You're going to have to if you have an apartment. You don't really want to switch it to Guthrie. You got to have television because you love to watch movies and all that good stuff. And then absolutely, you got to have internet. Nobody lives without internet in this lifetime. So here you have another $220. That looks pretty low to me, but it's conservative. Okay, so let's go to the next section and see what else we got here. We got food. Are you going to eat at home all the time today, students? I don't think they know how to cook. So I think a lot of them are mostly going to be eating out most of the time, and that's $370 a month. And once they realize that, they're going to say, well, maybe not so much, but it gives the kids an understanding of what's expected once you get on their own. How they're going to have this amount of money and this much of work. So you're going to go, I don't go out often, I watch TV, not really. Not when they're 18 and 20, they're going to be like, I want to go out most of the time. And so there you have $250. I don't know what that means exactly, people like the club, but that's a number that they're given as an estimate. Clothing, of course, you want to shop a lot when you're younger. You always got to buy the latest trends, and then when you get done here, you're going to say, well, I want my own car. I'll buy a smaller car, try to be, conservative there. I won't buy a luxurious car, and then you got to say health insurance. Well, we have the Obamacare. I don't know what that would be on here, but we'll do it the group rate and see what that comes up with. I think it's a little low for Obamacare, but keep on going. And then, of course, you're going to go to work, but you're still going to have a little bit of a loan you're going to have to pay. And, I would say most kids at this point are going to have a little bit of a loan. And then you can show your summary. Let's see if you can have that here. That's, are you going to save? Of course, we love people to save, and 5% is probably reasonable, which is high. So here we have our monthly cost of about, and that's a conservative, I think. So I would tell a kid $2,000 what you need to live your lifestyle every month. And so you have to have a minimum of $25,000 as a minimum. And so it gives kids a reality check of where they need to be and how much money they have and how much things cost and where they cut down costs and work from that. So that's kind of like that part for me in a nutshell. I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint and just to continue where I was at college, preparing students. Each of the college things are excellent. They give you all the information you can possibly need for that. And then Budget Life, which I just got done doing, is, you assess their lifestyle. It can be used as a real learning experience for students alone or together. And again, specifically, the information is Pennsylvania Pacific by the counties, as you saw in the database, comes from the Department of Labor and Industry Costs of Living experiences there. So I'm going to now turn it over to Charles, and he's going to give us a little more information on how to use the individual portfolio system. Hey, Charles.
Okay. Good morning. I'd like to go over this page right here and show you some connections and try to bridge what we're trying to do with this website and the resource that's available here for teachers, school counselors, and students, and also parents too. So I'm going to try to bridge that over from what we're presenting this morning also to our career education work standards, which was the beginning of all this and why we even developed a website like that. So the first thing to understand is that under Chapter 339, the career education work standards, there are certain responsibilities and mandates a school district or a career and tech center must do. One is to develop a 339 plan, also known as a K-12 comprehensive guidance plan. And the components that are required in that are, one, having a plan, two, having an advisory council, and by 8th grade, every student in Pennsylvania in public schools has to develop a career plan, which includes also an education plan. So as you can see, with those requirements and mandates that are put on a school, district, or a career and tech center, this website really bridges right to that to assist those educators, those professionals, and the students to accomplish this. Now, the first thing with the Career Education Work Standards that you probably want to bridge over with is, by using this website, is to, in the earlier grades and elementary grades up to maybe age grade 4 and 5, you want to have them start doing the exploration of occupations. What are all these occupations about? Let them do research. Let them use this website, learn how to navigate it, how to look for different jobs, what these jobs are about. What we're doing there is building a knowledge base for the students and getting them familiar with the website. By 5th grade, a lot of schools are already taking them through this process to start developing their portfolio. And with that, they start understanding even the budget section they'll be working on. So I'm going to go through that on this page here. So if I was a teacher in a school district with students, or a school counselor, what I would do is I would follow something of this nature to take my 5th or 6th graders and say, okay, let's start developing your individual portfolio. Now, a lot of school districts and career and tech centers pay for this service themselves to do the same thing leading up to their career plan by 8th grade. Well, with this system here, as Casey said before, there is no need for that. They can use this system, one-stop shopping, to develop that portfolio for the students. So here we have a savings, too, for our schools in the educational system. So the first thing you want to do is, what I would do as a school counselor or teacher, I would take a group of my students, my class, and of course they all have lab time and with computers. I would take them on that, utilize that time and to get them registered on the system. And of course they may already be registered if they did the exploration leading up to this. So now they can go back into their account and start building that portfolio even further and more precise and more focused. Okay, so once they're in the account and have they're registered for in the account, the next thing they want to do is they want to take do an interest profile. Now, when you register as a student or an educator or whoever registers in the system, this is going to be on that page once you've been accepted. You'll also receive an email back indicating that you've been successfully registered in the system. So perhaps maybe the teacher for the students, if the students don't have email addresses in the school, they may want to use hers to have them come to her, and then she can have those available for the students. They will do an interest profile. Now that's the interest profile. It's the one that's kind of aligned and is to the Holland interest profile or assessment. That's going to take some time to do. So that might be a full classroom time, one classroom time alone, just to get that profile done. But that's important because students need to know, what are they about? What are their interests? Are they more artistic than they are realistic? Whatever the case may be. So we can start focusing and honing in on those occupational areas, those careers that would be of interest to them. Once the profile has been completed, and that profile is 21 pages long, it has about 10 questions on each page, and for each question they either have to check an L or a D, a like or dislike. So once they completed that, they'll get their profile results in a summary format, and then they'll be able to go right into a list of occupations that fall under that profile. And as we indicated before in the video they showed, you can then do a comparison. They might have 3 or 4 different types of occupations that are listed there that they may have an interest in. And again, they may have already looked at some of these in earlier grades through the process they've been put through. So once a comparison comes up, we can then take each of the one of the 4, let's say, selections that they made. And as Casey showed, we can go to that page there which indicates for that particular occupation what they can look at all the information regarding that occupation. And that there they can take and put into their profile and say, yes, this is something I really have an interest in, and this is what I need to do to get to this point to take advantage of this when I leave high school. Okay. Here we have to register for an account, identify occupations, job finding opportunities and openings. So what we'll do then is we'll take this here, put it in their profile, and then they can go ahead and they select one and view the description.
Can I go to the website?
Yes. I'll go to the website real quick here because there are some other areas there on the, we're going to bring up one of the occupations again to show you on this here what, just bring these up. We're just going to bring any one of these up here, maybe the same one we had up before, and we'll just go right to it here.
And Charles and Casey, as you're pulling that up, I do just want to remind everyone that we're wrapping up at 10:30, which is in only about 12 minutes. So if you have any questions, please feel free to email those, or not email, to type them into the box, and I'll make sure to send those to Casey and Charles, or to vocalize them for you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, on this page on the left-hand side, you will see create a budget. We've talked about that already. Now you can do a specific budget to that, as Casey showed, for this particular occupation. So we have that. We add that to our portfolio, and then we can now start creating a plan. And in that plan there, we can click on that there, Casey. Go ahead and plan for job application. Now on this side here, you can go through this process with your students, finding job openings, where the jobs are located, give them an illustration of where different jobs in their area.
Do you want to have a link?
No, I don't think we need to do that. And then go down to job, but the one I really want to show on here is to create a resume and cover letter. Now that they have all this information, they can start developing resume building. And it's not too early to do that in 5th or 6th grade. Though it may be a little rough at that grade level, it certainly starts them thinking that this is a process they will need to go through as they go on in through the grades, and they can hone that as they go up through the high school grades. Okay, and there's also there you'll see the resume guide there that can help you also. So they'll go through here, develop a resume, start building on it, let them play with this a little bit on how to do it, and here's the guide here how to get started with all this, and they'll work it through.
And they give you guiding questions, so that you keep answering the questions, and at the end,
Correct.
they give you a resume.
Absolutely. Okay. So now they have the resume. They'll learn how to do a letter, if you want to go into that direction also at this point. And we'll go back to the this site here for this particular occupation. One more.
Yeah, there's a letter builder if you want to do a letter. Yeah.
Yes.
They have leading questions. They're very easy to use. You can fill them in, and at the end they give you a letter. It's pretty nice.
Okay. So we got that there, and now we're going into, and they can find job openings as we talked about right there to see what they have. And then, of course, in the job opening section, you can also go in there and they can actually apply for these jobs through this site also. And you can see the different companies here within Pennsylvania.
These are all Pennsylvania.
And this is all Pennsylvania here,
Now, if you
across the state.
if you did want to go to another state, neighboring state, you could do that. You can just select any other one and do that. But we have everything set up for Pennsylvania.
Right now. So now they have all the information. They're developing their portfolio. They can start honing on it, perfecting it, and focusing on towards their firm, informed career plan that they will develop by 8th grade.
Yeah, but who says there's no job? This thing's going and going and going and going and going and going.
So
Lots of jobs.
let's go back to the, I want to go back one more time to this, there we go. With this also, too, if you go down to education, and Casey clicked on this, it's going to indicate education required at the top there.
Okay.
There we go. What's required for this here? The important thing for this, for a student to understand from this section here is that if this is something I want to go into and I really have an interest in this, these are the requirements. I'm going to have to go to a four-year college in order to get this particular position in a career. So what it does now is it ties in by 8th grade an informed decision to develop their career plan, which includes their education plan, which is tied to what their goals are. I want to go into this occupation. In order to do that, I have to go to a four-year college. In order to go to a four-year college, these are the courses I need to take between 9th grade and 12th grade to put myself in the best position possible to qualify and be accepted into the university that I wish to go to. And of course, I could always focus on different universities they want to go to and look at the requirements for those institutions. So they will know, now they have a relevance between what they're doing in education leading up to their career choice. And that is a major difference from just a fantasy career plan, which many of our students have today. Now they have an informed plan. School districts that have gone this far already and done this, we have seen a change. We have seen this change in the students that are staying in the high school and also the students that are going in the Career and Tech Center starting in 9th or 10th grade. They are focused. They're not missing school. They're also no disruptive behavior in the classroom. They're completing their requirements both on the academic side and also the skill set side in the Career and Tech Center. And they're preparing themselves for the best opportunity to take that leap from secondary to post-secondary, and all options are open. 2-year, 4-year college, military, going to the workforce, technical school, whatever. That's our job. That's where we need to have our students. And with an informed plan tied to an education plan, which is relevant to what the career is going to be, that is really the key. This website will do this for the schools. This is why it's important for our teachers to know this website, use this website, along with their school counselors and with their students and parents.
All right, Charles, that leads me right to a few questions. So
Yes.
I don't know if you and Casey would mind putting your PowerPoint slide on with your information, because I think that's probably all we're going to have time for, and this way people can contact you directly for more information. This recording will be made available, and Casey, with your permission, can these slides be made available?
Yeah, I have to get approval to release them. Is that what you're
Okay.
saying?
Well, then you know what? I'm going to ask people to contact you if they want to discuss that with you. But I do want to throw a few questions to you. And if you could answer them just briefly, because we do have a few. First of all, is there a limit to the number of students within a district that can create individual accounts and portfolios?
No, there's not.
Thank you.
I have heard of no limit or restrictions at all.
Will this site remain a free resource as far as you can foresee?
Yes.
Okay. Is it possible for counselors to run reports that access student data?
From this website, only the information that would be housed on this website. Nothing outside about those parameters.
But I guess I'm reading into this question, and Cheryl, if you want to elaborate, just let me know. But I guess the question would be more specifically anything generated on the website, like the portfolio information or how much time the student has been on the site, or any. I mean, do you know if there's reports about that kind of information?
Yes, we can determine what a school does and how many students or teachers get on the website and utilize it, and we can get that information from our provider for this website.
And then I know you had recommended, starting the use of the website as early as 5th grade, but a question someone had is, if you're at a high school, whether it's a Career and Tech Center or a traditional high school, and you have students who have not yet been on this website, how are schools utilizing it? Is it a one-on-one with a guidance counselor meeting, or is it after school, or is there a particular course that teachers are integrating this into?
I think it's important for the teachers and counselors to work together in a collaborative manner, because a counselor cannot reach all students with this information. They need to have that collaboration with the teachers. And really the key is for the teachers to take this information, this kind of research, this resource here, along with the career education work standards, and integrate it into what they're already doing. So we're not asking them to do anything new. Just take it and utilize it within their own instructional structure that they have already. And by doing that and working collaboratively with the school counselors, every student should be able to get to the information they need. Now, if they want to start them at 9th grade and if they haven't had anything up to this point, well, you can start at that point, but it's not as beneficial to the student if we start late. The later we start, the less time we have to provide these services and provide for a good career plan for students. One of the saddest things to see is a student in the 11th, 12th grade saying, well, they're going into a particular occupation or career, and you look at their transcript and you see that's not going to happen. We're trying to alleviate that situation with these types of resources and the school adopting the career education work standards.
And one last question. Although this isn't the optimal way to use Career Zone, could it be suggested to content area teachers, for example, if you're a chemistry teacher, could you go in, access the careers that, I know there were STEM careers, but access the careers that are specific to chemistry, and then integrate that into your curriculum to make sure as the teacher, you're showing kids the careers that could come out of that content?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You know, if you have a school, especially who does clustering, like if they have a human service cluster or technology cluster or health cluster, you know, that would be ideal for those teachers to go in and look at what occupations are in that cluster so they can align their programs to the skills. They can go down and even read the skills that's necessary and try to enhance those skills in the classroom to show a relative, you know, real-time learning kind of thing.
Yeah, and to add to that too, that's an important thing for teachers to do, because again, that builds the relevance between what they're teaching, and you know, there are real jobs out there for this type of knowledge, and for those with this type of knowledge, and then they connect that again between education and the possible careers that these students may pursue. And the other thing is too, you never know what that spark is going to be for that student. Something that chemistry teacher presents to that student in 4th, 5th, 6th grade, whatever, maybe the spark to get them generated and engaged in the educational process. We just never know.
And one final comment, unless someone sends me another one in the interim, but I think this will be our last comment. A good point was made that by getting kids started in elementary school, they're more likely to know, you know, to get started. But more importantly, if we could tap into parents, we have much more parent involvement in elementary and early middle school than we do in high school. So maybe the suggestion was it might be a good idea to do some parent workshops of those younger kids so that parents are aware of the tool as the kid moves into high school.
Absolutely, and we do encourage that. And the reason we talk about 4th and 5th grade, 6th grade area to start introducing this to the students is, by 8th grade they have to make another decision too. Am I going to stay in the high school, or am I going to go to the Career and Tech Center to pursue my career? And with this information, they can make an informed decision on which avenue they want to take. So that's why that's important also.
The other thing I want to point out that we didn't quite get to that part yet, where you register, you create your account, and you want to share it, and you want to save something. You can go to the journal box and write something up. You can email it. If you want to email it back home to your parents or your friend, you can email it. You can even put it on your Facebook. So, I mean, there's a lot of sharing. Once you register as a student, you can share a lot of that with your family and if they can get that information, so he wants to go back and share with his parents later on, he just emailed it to them right from that site.
Oh, that's great. Well, listen, this has
We
been
didn't get to that part yet, but that's there.
I do have one other link that I'd like to share with the group before we leave too, and that's PACareerstandards.com. That is known as our toolkit. And that kind of houses all of the websites and resources that we have, including Career Zone. And again, that's PACareerstandards.com. And that's a wonderful website to go into to branch out to many different things. Connections to SAS, connections to PA Career Zone, 339 Planning, getting them their website, which is a website for transition to college. So it's a wonderful thing, and that's why we call it our toolkit.
Great, thank you for that. I want to thank you both. I thought this was a really informative session. I don't know if you intended it to be this way, but in my mind, Casey really gave a good foundation for what the website looks like, and then Charles, you really jumped in with some practical use and ways to use it, and it was really very informative. I wish we had more time. To all of you who are watching this live, we thank you and thank you for your questions, and I know this will be viewed as it is archived, I hope now even by some elementary administrators and staff. So that's something that we need to make sure we advertise. Casey and Charles, I can't thank you enough. I don't think people understand how incredibly busy the people at PDE are over the past few years. I know your departments have really shrunk and everyone's doing the work of multiple people, and it has just been really, we are so appreciative. It's been just so wonderful getting in touch with you and getting you on our calendar for this. So on behalf of NC3T and the work of the PA Pin sites, we really thank you. I think you'll be hearing from some of our people, and I'm going to wrap this up. We're a few minutes over. I hope no one minds. Everyone have a wonderful weekend, a great spring weekend, and thank you so much for joining us. This does conclude our webinar, and we hope to talk to everyone in the PA Pin again soon. Thank you again, Charles and KC. Bye-bye.